One of boxing's best is back in the ring this weekend as Terence Crawford makes his return to boxing with a lot of interesting implications around it. Let's talk about it. The biggest story here is Terence Crawford is back off of one of the best performances a boxer has had in a really long time. 2 pound for pound, top at minimum 10, definitely 7, probably 5 fighters facing each other, and he whooped Errol Spence's ass. Just complete domination of one of the best fighters in the sport and one of the best fighters at the weight that he is going to be fighting at. When you have all of that going on, it might be pretty easy to then go, yeah, I got this for this next fight here against Madrimov. He cannot do that. Now, he's good enough that he can do it a little bit, but I don't think he can take his foot off the gas. Now, I don't think he will either. I do think that given the relative inactivity that he had at times and a bit of rankings disrespect at times, I think that he is going to look to make a statement here and really look to put some of that pressure on some of the other biggest fighters of the sport and really make his case, or try to make his case anyway, as the pound for pound king of the sport right now. It's interesting because I have come in here being like, oh yeah, this is the Crawford fight, and barely mentioned the opponent. And I'm still going to continue that because so much of the focus going into this fight is what is next. There was already talk of Canelo Alvarez stepping in. We're already looking at, okay, would there be another Errol Spence rematch? What do you do after this fight? A lot of people are already putting a little green dot by him on Boxing Rec and saying, all right, this is a win. What's next? Again, he can't think that way. I don't think he will, but he can't think that way. But so much of the story around this fight is about what the next chapter is and not about this chapter here. But I think the bigger picture of all of this is a fight happening in LA being put on by Saudi Arabia. And it is objectively a stacked card. One of the most stacked cards in the history of the sport. This isn't just big name at the top and then local bar fighter versus local bar fighter in the co-main event. This is not top to bottom, but as close to top to bottom as we have ever seen in the sport of boxing. And this has been a real, I think, shift in how people view Saudi influence in boxing. And I have come on here and we've talked about it with WWE and a little bit here, where it has gone from, I'm not even covering that, to, all right, it's too important to not cover, but it feels icky, to now people are like, well, with the Saudis here, maybe we get this fight, maybe we get this fight, maybe we get this fight. It has allowed boxing fans to dream of everything that is possible, but it is also everything that everyone warned us about when it came to sport washing, where all of a sudden, this is not the mean Saudi Arabia who is literally killing people for what they are saying on social media and restricting a number of human rights in their country for people who live in their country. You go visit there, you're fine. But for actual people who live in that country, it's not great if you want to say literally anything against the government that's in charge there. But now everyone's like, oh, well, no, they're Santa Claus to the boxing world. And so it has really changed a lot of people's perception of what this all means. And I think that is a really, really interesting switch, and one that these guys have been kind of looking for a long time. This is what they got. And now, but at the same time, like you're looking at, like, yeah, every fight now is possible because these guys have absolutely just exploded any, pardon the pun, they have just absolutely taken away any issues of promotions, of networks, of ranking, of whatever. They've just come in and be like, no, this fight's happening. Here's $2 billion. This fight's happening. Shut the fuck up. That's what they have done. So it is a new era in boxing, but it is one that I think we always have to remember the cloud that hangs over it here. As we get ready for what is, again, gonna be a real fun weekend of boxing in one that, quite frankly, these guys have provided a lot of, but we can never, ever, ever forget what is hanging over it entirely.